Hey people, Raz here. Is squad too hard for your little Coomer brain to understand? Are you too mentally deficient to appreciate the complexities of Battlefield? Well, come on down, because I've got the perfect game for a little Crayon Muncher like yourself. Welcome to Hellletloose, a tactical, first-person, VR chat rage simulator, where your main interaction with the world is shooting it, and your main objective is to ignore your commander at all costs. Join a wonderful cast of characters through a series of wacky hijinks that takes place in an active war zone. But what is the lore of Hellletloose, I hear you asking? Well, I'll tell you. A long time ago in a country far, far away, an evil mustachioed madman said, "Hey, you know that world war that we lost? Oh, yeah, the one that killed millions? Yeah, that one. Let's try that again, but hear me out. This time, it'll be racist."
What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
I'm in the Twilight Zone right now.
Sadly, your dumbass has been catapulted into the middle of this global conflict. You have no training, no life skills, and are probably, most likely, retarded. Anyways, it's your job to assault strong points across the map until either the other team runs out of time or runs out of points to take. But don't worry, you'll be surrounded by other brainlets equally as incompetent as you are. It's an objectively great time. In this game, you have three main factions to play as. The Russians, who greet each other with
У меня плохое оружие, и я должен кричать.
the Americans, who mainline M1 Grands and blast country roads over proximity chat. And switching teams, we have the Deutsch, who are famous for their use of meth chocolate and MG42s. Once you select your faction, you'll have your choice of 14 different roles divided by 3 different subtypes: infantry, armor, and recon. Starting with infantry, we have the officer, whose job it is to listen to squad chat,
Hey, command, can I get a recon tank?
place outpost spawns, and not have any fun the entire game, because he is now your designated babysitter.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Rifleman, whose only function is to drop ammo, and is mainly used by new players who have no idea what they're doing. Assault, who roleplays as a one-man army and is objectively the most overpowered class in the game. Automatic Rifleman, who is basically just a commander with no Rolex. Medic, who is given 2 clips of ammo, smoke grenades, and no will to live. Support, who is the assistant to the regional manager and can generally be found within 2 feet of his very good friend, the squad leader. Machine gunner, whose job it is to suppress, reload, and suppress again. Anti-tank, who, due to Newton's laws of time and space, dies approximately 30 seconds before he would have been useful. And engineer, who is objectively the most important role in the entire game. Usually this class is played by unhinged psychopaths who have a hitting fetish and an alcohol addiction.
You and you! Now we play the most dangerous game of all! How about you?
The next subclass is armor. Just like in prison, the School of Tankery is divided into 2 roles, Sub and Dom. The tank commander plays Dom, and can usually be found on the top of the tank, spotting targets and yelling at his crewmates. The gunner plays the Sub role, and fires at targets. And the driver is usually the designated power bottom. He can be found behind the wheel, playing with his stick shift. Our last subtype is Recon. These are divided up into 2 roles, Spotter and Sniper. The Spotter functions as a squad leader and carries binoculars and a flare. The Sniper, well, he just ignores everyone and focuses on his KD ratio.
Got him. That was a 300-meter shot. I fucking nailed him.
Now, technically speaking, Recon's job is to sneak behind the enemy lines and spawn camp artillery players. However, usually, this class is manned by the first 4 idiots to load into a match, so their effectiveness may vary. In fact, during my hundreds of hours of playtime, I've never gotten to play Sniper, because it's always the first squad to fill up within the first 15 nanoseconds of the game starting. But Raz, I hear you asking, didn't you forget about the most important player of the game, the commander? Well, to be honest with you, I have no idea what the commander actually does. I like to think of the commander as God. If you beg and plead, he may occasionally drop supplies or call in a strafing run, but more often than not, he fails to get a garrison built and Thanos snaps half of his own team.
I'm about to be kicked for team kills. Ugh.
While I don't know what the commander does, I do know one very important thing. If you lose in a game of Hellletloose, it is 110% their fault, and you need to let him know that in the end of round chat by berating him endlessly until he apologizes for his failures as a leader and a human being. So, now that we've covered roles, let's cover mechanics. To do that, it's time for a little lesson in cartography. Once in game, you're going to hit the M key to open your map. There, you'll see the whole RGB spectrum. We got red dots, we got blue dots, and most importantly, we got green dots. Green dots represent your squad mates, and to function effectively on the battlefield, it is imperative that you are as far away from them as possible.
Here, I'll take you with me. Come here, guys. We're redeploying together. No, wait, that's a bad idea. Get away from me.
I'm in danger!
Blue dots, commonly referred to as blueberries, are useless mouth breathers who will typically step in front of your rocket, get run down by your vehicle, or run into the middle of your artillery barrage. And red dots? Well, those are the bad guys. While many theologians may speculate whether red dots are actually evil or not, there is one thing that they are most known for, and that thing is doming your ass from a mile away. Seriously, get used to seeing the "you died" screen, because you're going to be seeing that more times than the soldiers who stormed the beach in Saving Private Ryan. Moving on, it's time to talk about spawn points. Spawn points come in 4 different varieties. Outpost spawns, placed by your squad leader. Garrisons, built by using resources via an airdrop or supply truck. Half-tracks, and airheads, usually dropped in the worst place imaginable by your team's commander. The difference between winning and getting steamrolled in a game of Hellletloose is decided by how quickly your team can get those initial garrisons placed. Moving on, it's time to talk about nodes. Nodes are built by the engineer, usually next to a garrison. However, they can be placed anywhere on the map. All you need is the appropriate supplies in the area to place them. There are 3 nodes to choose from: munitions, manpower, and fuel. Ideally, the commander will airdrop supplies and every engineer will start placing their nodes as soon as the match begins. This will provide your team with the fuel necessary to spawn vehicles, the munitions necessary to call bombing runs, supply drops, and to feed your ammunition-hungry artillery players, and manpower, which allows your commander to spam reinforce or encouraged and enables them to drop airheads to grief the enemy team. Having these nodes as early in the game as possible is critical to your team's success, which is why the engineer is the most important class in the game. Anyways, now that you know the mechanics of the game, let's talk about the maps. Starting in alphabetical order, we have Crayon, which offers a good mix of urban warfare in the town center, large open fields to the south, and some of the roughest combat I've ever played near the northern canals and factories. This is the ultimate city map, and offers some of the best close-quarter firefights in the game. Up next, we have Foy. Since I'm a video game journalist, I will state my own personal opinion as fact, and say that this is objectively the best map in the game. It offers large open fields broken up by dense forests, trenches, and small towns, which can be turned into fortresses. This map also has a night version, which is my favorite map to play on in the entire game. It's one of the few maps that offers great defensive and offensive options due to the great base design and lanes of attack. Moving on, we have Hill 400, which is essentially just the Vietnam War set during World War II. It's a claustrophobic map comprised of almost nothing except for forest combat in the center and 2 towns in the edges. This map usually devolves into a steamroll, where one team pushes the other team to their town and then it turns into a long defensive game. Coming up, we have objectively the worst map in the game, Hurtgen Forest. This entire map's gameplay consists of I got shot, but I have no idea where it came from. It has a huge ravine splitting the map in two and a mixture of large open spaces, dense forest, and tons of mostly destroyed houses. The map's biggest sins is that it offers areas of extreme cover right next to open areas with next to no cover, making it a sniper's paradise. Thankfully, they added a night version of this map that completely changes the dynamic by adding dense fog, low lighting, and gives you this eerie, amazing feeling that saved the entire map for me. The best way to play this map is to give up on your team if it's the daytime version and just play artillery, or if it's the nighttime version, just switch to the light machine gun and enjoy all the close quarters action. Now it's time for Kharkov. Kharkov is the newest addition to the game. Initially, like most of you, I hated Kharkov because it didn't resemble the real battlefield at all. However, the more I played it, the more I realized it's the most balanced map in the entire game. The forest, the town in the center, and the windmills make it one of the most interesting maps with varied gameplay. Fighting over the church in the center of town has to be some of the most fun I've had in Hellletloose. Next is Kursk, which consists solely of large open fields with trenches dotting each strong point, and it's occasionally broken up by a small village. Just like Hurtgen Forest, the only way to play this map is to switch to the night variant, because it offers dense fog to keep the snipers at bay. Really, there's not much to say about this map, because it's hot garbage. To fix it, I would have the developers add double the amount of towns to liven up the gameplay, because it's really bland for the most part, and just has a ton of walking and dying to snipers. The trenches make it almost impossible to drive a truck, and the entire map just needs to be reworked or scrapped due to how poorly it plays. Next in line is Omaha Beach. On this map, I've had my best matches and I've had my worst matches. It's an absolute blast to play Germany on the offensive game mode, since this map offers the best town design. Twice now I've played games where the Germans get pushed back to their last two objectives, and the team's engineers build up the back village into a fortress, making for some of the best gameplay I've had in any World War II game, hands down. My biggest complaint with this map is that it's nearly impossible to play artillery on the American side, because as soon as a German sniper pins you down on the beach, there's no way to take them out. Overall, this map is kind of a mixed bag, and on warfare it turns into a frustrating slog, because the Germans just have way more defensive opportunities than the Americans. So, your enjoyment will depend on your team. Moving on, we have Purple Heart Lane. If you've ever played Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, you'll feel right at home here. If I could describe this map in one word, it would be moist. There are just tons of ditches, causeways, and flooded fields all around this map. It makes it a claustrophobic experience for vehicle players and a snipe fest for anyone caught in an open field. I really do like this map though, because it offers the most flanking opportunities by using the ditches for cover. Usually, the gameplay devolves into one team making a point to a fortress and the other team trying to flank around to capture it. Purple Heart Lane plays unlike any other map in the game, and it's super fun if you have a good squad leader. It's just such a blast to watch your commander call in an airstrike on the enemy team as he'd spent 30 whole minutes building their point to a virtual fortress, just to watch it all get blown sky high. It also has a night map, but unlike the other night maps, I feel like this one makes the gameplay worse. It turns gunplay into claustrophobic firefights that usually take place in the ditches and suffers from camping. While this map is less fun at night, it is way more atmospheric. Up next, we have another newer edition that came out with Update 12, Remagen. Now, if you told me that a bridge map would be unfun, I would have believed you, but for some reason, the developers did not. Remagen plays differently than any other map in the game, because the two sides are separated by one bridge in the center. It's an absolute meat grinder that devolves into both teams fighting over the bridge the entire game until one side either gives up or gets flanked. Airheads, artillery, and tanks are essential to victory on this map because your entire team's gonna need to coordinate to push across that bridge. Once you are across the bridge, however, this map becomes extremely fun. The German side of the map has a steep mountain dotted by villages and forests, and the American side has probably some of the best town design in the whole game, with small villages, small fields, and small forests, giving it more combat variety than any other map in the game. While I want to hate this map, I can't help but love it because it's actually really fun, especially if you have an MG42. Moving on, we have Saint Marie du Mont, which is nothing but hedgerow country, open fields, and lots of small towns. This map just feels like a slog because it has so many different places to hide and camp. All of the firefights feel small and sporadic, and it just feels like there's too much cover while not having enough cover at all times. It's one of the most awkward maps to play on and never quite feels fun due to all the open fields. But literally everyone plays this map. This and Crayon have made up over half of my time with Hellletloose. The best part of this map is the town near the south. When you get into the city, it becomes this claustrophobic tug of war over each house, and the church tower in the center of town offers some very Saving Private Ryan-esque gameplay.
Yeah. Oh, is that a tank? Is that enemy tank?
I'd say about there.
Okay, I'm gonna go pour my coffee.
It's one of those maps that I always dread, but still always end up enjoying. The optimal way to play this map is by driving a tank. The large open fields provide great tank gameplay, and you really feel like a tank when you're able to ambush the enemy and kill all of their OPs. Overall, it's a great time. Up next, we have Saint Mary-Glisse. This map gets played a lot. I have a feeling everyone chooses this map because after 8 p.m. at night, both teams, and I do mean this literally, are either very drunk or stoned out of their mind. And in that state, it would require more mental capabilities to learn a new map than the entire server has the capacity for. Thankfully, it's very good. The outer edges of the map are dominated by hedgerows, small houses, and fields. The center of the map is dominated by a massive church and a very long city. While Crayon offers great close quarters combat, this map offers much more wide open streets and lots of back alleys for flanking, and fields, which break up the combat more. The streets make it great for tank combat, really allowing the armor into the city, which makes for some of the most fun and cinematic gameplay I've ever had. Now, here's the big one, Stalingrad. This map is either really fun or really bad, depending on where you are on the map.
Well, that garrison's gone.
The first part of the map, near the Volga, is a blast. You'll get to see all the iconic locations, like Pavlov's house, the tractor factory, the brewery, and the railroad tracks. However, this map really starts to become a slog once you get to the suburbs. The left side of the map is dominated by destroyed wooden houses with way too much cover and not enough variety. It devolves into camping or massive charges. Honestly, the entire left side of the map needs to just be reworked because it plays like ass. It's terrible for armor, there's too much cover for campers, and it all looks the same. I'd really like to see a snowy version of this map with snowdrifts or less destroyed houses to make it more fun to play. It feels like the city side of the map never gets played, which is a total shame because it's easily the best part. Lastly, we have Utah Beach. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have never had a fun game on this map. The main reason is all of the damned barbed wire. I have no idea why the developers decided to do this, but they've essentially made over half the map unplayable. WN4 and WN7 are literally covered in indestructible barbed wire. It makes the game a rush to capture these 2 points, because once you do, it's GG. The left side of the map is nothing but flooded, open fields with no cover, and the right side of the map is probably its only saving grace, because the beach is actually really well done. The devs have redone this map before, but honestly, it still plays like crap. The only way to squeeze any amount of fun out of this map is to play armor or artillery, because being an infantryman on this map is probably the worst time I've ever had with Hellletloose. Finally, let's talk about vehicles. Vehicles come in many different varieties. Supply trucks, who deliver supplies, transport trucks, which operate as the bus from Fortnite,
We'll be dropping, boys.
Half-tracks, which are just mobile spawn points with a machine gun and usually get taken out within 3 seconds of parking. Recon vehicles, which are objectively useless rocket pinatas. Jeeps, essentially just race cars. Light tanks, which operate as hit-and-run skirmishers. Medium tanks, which operate as mobile cover for your infantry and are usually used to push points. And heavy tanks, which are just chunky thick boys used to cross-map snipe the enemy team and force them to rage quit because they one-shot everything in the game. Lastly, we have artillery. Now, I don't quite know whether I consider this a vehicle or not, but I do consider it one of the most important weapons in the game. Everyone, and I do mean everyone except for milsim players like me, hate artillery. We laugh at people like them and call them battlefield babies. Balance? Yeah, we don't do that here. It's supposed to be unfun and annoying to be vibe checked by artillery, but guess what? That's part of the milsim aesthetic. And if you don't like being turned into paste, go play Call of Duty. I hear the developers over there are more responsive to your tantrums and tears. When a weapon accounts for almost half of the deaths in World War I and World War II, you can bet it's not going to be fun to be on the receiving end. Allow me to read a quote from Lieutenant Sledge's book, With the Old Breed. To be under a barrage of prolonged shelling simply magnified all the terrible physical and emotional effects of one shell. To me, artillery was an invention of hell. The onrushing whistle and the scream of a big steel package of destruction was the pinnacle of violent fury and the embodiment of pent-up evil. It was the essence of violence and of man's inhumanity to man. I developed a passionate hatred for shells. To be killed by a bullet seemed so clean and surgical, but shells would not only tear and rip the body, they tortured one's mind, almost beyond the brink of sanity. The truth is that artillery is flawless, and anyone who complains on the subreddit is either a sniper or a commander. Oh, the commander wants ammo for his terrible precision strike? Well, too bad. I just got 20 kills hitting the enemy garrison, and I am single-handedly holding off their counterattack. Oh, you're a sniper, and you're mad that you have to camp the enemy artillery? Well, I'm so sorry that we asked you to do team play for 5 seconds. By all means, go back to the front line so you can film your headshot montage instead. Oh, you were hit by my shell? Well, you should have looked at the map. That grid was clearly marked for artillery bombardment. But I digress. I was the one who went on the subreddit looking for a nuanced and thought-out opinion, so I guess that's my fault. I'm honestly convinced that most of the people on this subreddit don't actually play the game at all, and just log on nightly to post terrible game-breaking ideas. Here are some of the other brain-dead suggestions I've seen. Add a compass like Call of Duty, add emotes like Fortnite, add tow trucks, add more blood, add less blood, make the characters have voice-acted lines like BF1, add dummy sniper heads like BF1, add tickets like Squad, add double XP weekends like Battlefield, add medals and ribbons like Battlefield, add bayonet charges like Battlefield, increase the running speeds like COD. I wish the game was more like Red Orchestra. I wish the game was more like Foxhole. I wish the game was more like Postscriptum. I wish the game was more like Insurgency Sandstorm. Tanks should have parts damage like in War Thunder. Make the game into an 18v18 competitive shooter. We should be allowed to play without a bike. I want to be a solo tanker. Why do I need other players to drive the tank? Add swords. D-Day is unbalanced. Add local chat that can be heard by enemies and friendlies. All chat should be local chat, and squad comms should go away because they're not realistic. Get rid of manual shifts on the tanks. Get rid of garrisons and OPs and require everyone to walk to the front lines. Don't allow cosmetics. Add Waffen SS uniforms. Snow camos aren't accurate enough. Add the Vietnam War to the game. Nerf AT, nerf tanks, nerf artillery, nerf the SL class. Make snipers into a single role without a spotter. Get rid of nodes. Get rid of riflemen. Add a social credit score to the game. In reality, this game only has 3 actual issues. My character won't jump, my bipod won't deploy, and my grenade won't throw. Idiots will tell you that there are balance issues with this game. We simply tune them out and tell them that this is a skill issue. This game is a perfect 10 out of 10. If you disagree with this, you can find me on Soul Snipers, Soldiers of Fortune, and 1v1 me.
Fucking move it!
No! Nice!
Enemy bullet werfer is attacking me.
Bullet warfare.
There's an enemy tank like right here.
Jesus Christ.
They're actually
No!
Greyhound, right there.
Tank seems to be stationary.
Hey!
Nice.
Excuse me, young sir. Get out of the fucking way. I'm the officer.
We got to fight for the motherland! Show no mercy, no quarrel to the enemy! Prove to me you're a warrior! And have no fear for Scott Deutschland!
Take the next point, boys. It's time to rise and grind, gamers.
Just are kicked in the fucking chest and I set up.
He bounced.
Shooting at us.
He bounced.
Hey!
Nice. Okay, Garrison down!
Oh, there goes 6 people. Daddy, chill. Daddy.
Rise and grind, gamers!